All right. So good afternoon. This is Tanya Redding with your 2021 president. As part of our leadership interview series, today I'm sitting down with our corporate sponsors. Tim Murphy from CNF Mortgage has joined us. Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. And mostly we are very appreciative of the fact that you are investing in SMAR with your corporate sponsorship. So Tim, from your perspective, what would be your top concern for mortgage industry heading into 2021?
Wow, awesome question. I mean, the biggest concern I have right now is having the confidence that the lenders that we're working with are doing their job. I mean, let's face it, one of the things that I deal with all the time from both sides of the coin, unfortunately, is, is that pre-approval letter, is that loan truly going to be approved? And
Right.
we see so many times where, we're the second tier, the third tier. I'm waiting on the first tier. It's some institution, oh, well, they were pre-approved and yet they haven't done their due diligence. Let's face it. I mean, you, the real estate community, depend on the lenders and having that confidence to be able to deliver. Let's face it, we basically write your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're unable to deliver that paycheck to you, at the end of the day, not only have we caused a financial hardship for the real estate community,
Right.
but now you've got sellers and buyers that are displaced. They don't have home ownership. They've got, movers. They've got so many pieces of the pie in place, and people don't realize how much of an emotional, it's not just a financial decision, but an emotional decision on going from one transaction to the other. And what amazes me, and this is what's critical, is you as the real estate community are the ones that are really holding their hand through the entire process. And you're telling your client, listen, I have confidence that this loan is going to go through, or I know this player, or I know that this appraisal, because it's a local appraiser, is going to go through,
Right.
or it's a local title company. How many times do we get that frantic call and it's a Thursday night and we're going to settlement on a Friday? Tanya, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what's this sorry BS, right?
Right.
So I think the biggest concern that I see going from 21 into 22 is really having the confidence that that loan is going to be approved, so that there's not going to be any disruption in the process itself.
I agree. I have to say that's one of the things that when I'm working with sellers, when I sit down and have our conversation about the way that the process moves, and in this market, especially with most of our homes having multiple offers,
Exactly.
I tell my clients, look, the highest offer is not the best always.
Right.
Sometimes it is, but not always. And I tell them, I said, it has to be looked at as an entire package. I said, and so when we review offers, we make sure that we look at who the agent is, if the contract is filled out completely, if we have a true lender approval, or lender pre-approval. And I call my lenders and talk to them. And believe me, I've called some lenders and some of them can't tell me what the person's name is. They can't tell me who they are, if they've run their credit or anything else. And I will explain to my sellers, how can we possibly trust this person if this lender hasn't even done their job? They haven't done their due diligence. And there are certain lenders out there. I was just speaking with someone recently who will give them a pre-approval letter online.
Right.
All the client has to do is go in and fill out some information on their website. Credit's not pulled.
Yep.
They haven't talked to anybody. They haven't given their bank statements or anything else, and they give them a pre-approval. And that particular lender, many agents are asking not to use them. And so when you're in a competitive market situation and you're putting your name on that line and you want your client to get this contract, you tell them, look, you know what, you might need to look at another lender, somebody who's local. And you're right, the whole local thing is a huge deal. It is a big positive. I kind of explained to my sellers as well, when we have lenders who are out there online, all these, credit unions and different things, they all do a good job necessarily, or they may do a good job, but they don't know who you are. They don't know who I am. They don't care who I am. I'm just another agent who's sending them business. But when we use our local lenders, they live here, they work here, they eat here, their kids play soccer with our kids. And so I tell my clients, look, they want to do well by me because they're going to have to see me again.
Correct.
So if
Exactly
they
right.
don't do a good job and I get that call the day before settlement saying, oops, sorry, there's an issue, they know that they're going to lose business.
Right.
So I said, that's why we like to use local lenders that we trust.
And I think you nailed it right there. I so many times I get calls from it. other agents, and they're saying, well, the lender won't tell me anything. And that's the other side of the coin. The lender can. They can't tell you the specific credit score. They can't tell you specifics, but they can tell you, yeah, you know what, the credit's in the high 70s, 700s. You know, I've run it through, you know, an underwriting system. I have the tax returns. I have the pay stubs. I have the bank statements. And Tanya, you nailed it. I mean, it's so number one for me, critical question, critical answer is just confidence in the lender you're working with.
Yeah. And I think that's what we need to help our newer agents with. We need to get them to understand this is the way you do it correctly, and this is the why, and this is how then you explain it to your client. I mean, that's one of the things that we've been discussing this whole year is communication. We need to communicate better with our local lenders and our title companies and our customers, and our newer agents need to learn how to do that correctly. So hopefully with your new Buffini program, we'll be able to do some more of that.
You know, we do need to, we'll touch base on that afterwards. That'd be great.
All right, so let's see. Tim, what market issues are you seeing currently in Southern Maryland, and how do you see the balance of 2021 to 2022 unfolding in regards to our marketplace?
Well,
So are there any other issues?
you know the answer. The answer is inventory. I mean, is there any? Right. Isn't that what a critical answer is? And
Right.
you know that, and that's a question everybody brings into play. And so I'm going to answer it a different way. You know, first of all, we are going to see a rise in short sales. We might see some foreclosures, not that many, because let's face it, values have come up dramatically. It makes more sense for a client to short sale than to do a foreclosure. So we want to try to assist the clients through that
Right.
process. So we are going to see, you know, a rise in short sales. We are going to see some foreclosures. Now, what does that entail? Well, it entails sometimes a situation where the houses aren't in the best of condition. And that's the critical element. Do we have the product to accommodate what needs to be done, if something needs to be done, maybe a rehab product, like a 203K or home style, or maybe a VA renovation loan, something that's going to be able to accommodate the repairs. Now, with that in mind, I tell all my agents, you want to have contractors in place. You know, it is almost impossible to find contractors. It's insane. So I
Yes.
tell my clients, look, your office, your agent team, your agents should put together, hey, these are our 5 contractors that we have a reputation with, that are available, that are responsive, that are reasonable, that are licensed, right? So I would think about inventory from the perspective of, okay, we need to accommodate the house itself. We need to accommodate the condition of the property. We need to accommodate, let's face it, closing assistance,
Right.
because sellers are in a seller market and they realize, Tanya, I don't have to pay. You just told me multiple contracts. I don't have to pay closing help. So
Right.
we need to make sure that as the lending community, we take advantage of the Maryland Mortgage Program, for instance, that has the down payment assistance, that have grant programs available. Maybe we do a lender assist program where we adjust the rate and provide lending assistance from the lender itself. There are multiple grants, down payment assistance, and creative ways that you can structure a deal. So that would be number 2. And then number 3, you're going to laugh, but construction to perm. We are seeing an amazing rise in construction to perm loans. And the new one that's just coming out is a 5% down construction perm,
Okay.
which to me, I think is going to answer a lot of questions. Now, why construction perm? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, there is still land available. There are still lots out there, although
Yep.
they're a little priced, right?
Yep.
And there are ways to work that. If you can find a beautiful piece of property that may be 1, 2, or 3 acres, that's going to bring that ideal situation available to your clients, and do it as a construction to perm with only 5% down, it does 3 things. It takes some of the risk away from the builder, worried about, hey, is this house going to appraise?
Right.
Is the client's financing still going to be in place when the house is finished?
Right.
Right? So those are 2 critical elements. And the other side of the coin, then we can begin stimulating new listings because they have to sell themselves. So I think
Yeah.
construction to perm, I think being, as a lender, being proactive and providing assistance. And then number 3, having those renovation programs, having those different ideas. And you don't always need a renovation program if you know and this, I always laugh because the requirements of that loan, because not all FHA loans require a broken window to be fixed. You know, you
Right.
don't always have to fix the carpet. You know, the deck's rough, but it's doable. You
Right.
know, or a USDA loan, you can accommodate it if a house appraises for more. So you nailed it right there. I think inventory is that big gorilla in the room other
Yeah.
than COVID, but that's another story.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. So let's see what else. Is there anything you can think of at SMAR as an association that we should be focused on in the next 3 years?
Well, let's talk about the Buffini program. I think that's critical. And we don't want to be a Buffini advertisement, but SMAR has negotiated an amazing opportunity, which is the Buffini 100-day program. And it's designed 100 days of greatness, really to bring out the strategy and ideas. And coming back to basics, we jumped into a marketplace that is just on fire. Tanya, last year was
my very best year in 20 years.
And that's my point. It is, it has returned to an amazing marketplace where, it is awesome. The only catch-22 is it will correct itself. And whether you're a new real estate agent or an agent that's been in business for a while, you want to remember there are that back to basics. There are asking for the referrals. There are making that phone call 30 days after settlement and saying, hey, how did it go? I'm so excited. Thank you again for the opportunity. And by the way, do you know anybody that would be interested in buying a home? And I think that 100 Days to Greatness Buffini program that SMAR is sponsoring for the fall, I think will be critical, number one. And then number two, I think we roll in the other part of the case, which is really education. We've got to educate the community about what's available and what's coming out. Now, this is scary in a way, but I can tell you, FHA loans down to 580s. That's FICO scores, which is wild. 5% construction perm. The no docs are back.
Oh, God,
I know it's scary.
No, I don't like to hear that. Sorry.
But my point of the matter is, and there are going to be a lot more creative financing. Why? Because the marketplace recognizes that as prices have gone up, it's become more difficult to finance. And so we're getting to the point where, with that being the case, the lending community, the more, I want to say, progressive, will be coming out with new programs to accommodate that. As an agent, what would I want to do if I was in your community? Education.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a 3-hour CE or it's just a 30-minute YouTube, program, or the 100 Days of Greatness, this fall, this winter, I would just soak it in like a sponge and absorb it all, because really, 22 is going to be another amazing year, but this is not an easy business.
No, people ask me that all the time. They say, oh, you've got to be, you're rolling this year. It's a great year for you guys. It's easy business. It really is, I think, a much harder year even since last year. And what I explain to a lot of my clients when people are saying that is the difference is, normally we'll work with a buyer for 2 months, 3 months max. Usually, a month you're looking at houses, go to settlement, you're done. Within 3 months, the whole package deal is gone.
Yep.
We are dealing with buyers, or working with buyers, I should say, 6, 8, 9 months. We're writing 3, 4, 5 offers. The emotional roller coaster ride for these buyers is crazy. It is. So we are technically working 10 times harder than we've ever worked before.
And that amazes me, because you got to think about the real estate community. I hate to say this, but we all get a little burnt out. And you got to remember, you've got to keep yourself psyched up. You got to keep yourself focused. And you've got to remember, it's a major transaction and people do get discouraged. And there is no question about that. But you, as the coach, if you will, you as the cheerleader, you as that supporting person getting through the process, and this is the critical part, if they remember that, Tanya, you got a customer for life.
Yeah.
And you and I both know, we've been in the business a while. I won't tell you how many years, but think about it. If you got a customer for life, and every customer will refer 5 new clients in 5 years, and you look at that multiplier effect, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But if you lose that disconnect,
yes, it's all over.
Oh, it's all over.
It's all over.
Oh, amen.
So, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. So we definitely need to work on that. So as we both know, in this industry, changing and adapting to the change, as we were just talking about, is essential for survival and success. Is there anything you can share from what you've learned or adjusted in the last 12 to 18 months that may be helpful for SMAR members?
That's a great question. I will tell you, number one, and you're going to laugh, but it's really having the right attitude and the commitment. You've got to understand, it is hard sometimes to get up in the morning, get dressed, and go to the office, or get up in the morning and make that phone call to your seller and say, listen, the septic test failed. It looks like you need new drain fields. You need a new well. You've got termites, unfortunately something has occurred and this is going to be a financial issue. So as a real estate agent, and this is where I found it's critical, you've got to be the problem solver. And I find that the agents that can step up, be the problem solvers, don't give up, call, make the call. I tell everybody all the time, reach out to your community. There are so many excellent opportunities. Reach out to your broker, reach out to your more seasoned agents, but reach out to the lenders. Hey, have you ever had this problem before? How do I solve it? How do I resolve the issue? I have found that from a lending standpoint, it's adaptability. I get up in the morning and I say, okay, what challenges do I have today? They're not problems, they're hurdles. We're going to overcome them, right? Nobody's going to die today.
Right.
Okay. This is an opportunity though, for you to give somebody an amazing, ready home. And we remember, well, that's what we do.
Right.
We give people homes, and to have that kind of a life and get paid for it is amazing to me. And that's why I love the real estate community. I love SMAR. I mean, you guys have been so proactive. I deal with quite a bit of different associations. Some of them are on top like you guys, some of them not so much. And that's what's nice about, and let's face it, Southern Maryland. We are still a small, country setting where we care about the people that are in our community. And like you said, we want to make sure we step up to the plate, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be in the grocery store. I'm going to say, Ty, and you're going to say, oh, that rascal, right? We don't want that. We want to get it done. And so I think that's the critical part. It's just adaptability, education. I mean, I constantly am changing my plan and my resources. And like I said, if you can find the opportunity to, whether you're doing the Zoom classes, or you're doing just a 30-minute YouTube, or you're calling for, or you're coming to a happy hour, try to attend as many things as you can, especially this fall for 2022.
Yeah. I have to say, in regards to that, this past year, I've really looked at more YouTube videos than I've ever done in my entire life. And many of them, for instance, Tom Ferry's group, they did a whole series called Pivot. And that's exactly what we had to do is, we're pivoting from one thing to another, trying to adjust to what we have to do for our clients. The whole Zoom thing was a whole new, so different for me. I'd never
good Lord,
been involved with that. I am more of a people person, like to be in front of people, like to be with people. So that was something definitely that I had to learn how to interview and do listing agreements online and doing, things virtually.
And speaking of virtually, I'm amazed, Tom. First of all, you are a phenomenal agent. I'm not going to BS you, but realistically, how many clients now have bought houses sight unseen? I mean,
yes.
And here the real estate community has stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to assist somebody. They're moving in from Japan or from Germany, or they're coming in from California. They recognize this market is so hot. And here the real estate community has stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to assist you with this process. I'm going to walk you through the home. I'm going to take a look at the community. I'm going to film all these different areas, while still, of course, stepping back to make sure we follow our ethics guidelines, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But realistically, you guys have stepped up. You've made the move, and I think that is evident, given how amazing our community is from that standpoint.
I agree. We've done well, and we appreciate yourself for all that you do for us. Tim actually is going to be the instructor for our Buffini group, and it's going to be amazing. I've already done it once. I plan on doing it again. And so I think anybody else that's out there that would like to step up and take this class, I think Tim's right. It's all about education and getting as much of it as you can. So again, thank you very much for your time today. And thank you for coming in, and thank you for doing our sponsorships. We really do appreciate it. It helps us out a lot.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.